Tonight, the St. Lucia Labour Party responds to the scathing address to the nation by former Choiseul Saltibus hopeful Dr. Alphonsus St. Rose. It's official, Journée Créole 2020 is cancelled. The FRC makes the difficult announcement. And one day after boasting 0 active cases of COVID-19, the island records its 26th case of the virus. All this and more coming up in tonight's broadcast.
This is the Hot 7 Nightly News with Lovely and Amy Joseph.
It is Tuesday, the 18th of August, 2020. Welcome to the Hot 7 TV Nightly News Edition on Flow Channel 117, Kiss FM, and our Caribbean Hot FM mobile app. I'm Rochelle Gonzalez, standing in for Lovely Saint Amy Joseph. Thank you for joining us. The St. Lucia Labour Party is shrugging off the scathing address to the nation made by the party's former hopeful candidate for Choiseul Saltibus, Dr. Alphonsus St. Rose, on Monday. Communications Officer of the SLP, Monde Lewis, says the party is not against anyone who wants to enter elective politics. Addressing Dr. St. Rose's statement, where he announced that he will be going up as an independent candidate after he was snubbed, Lewis says the SLP has no issue with his decision, as we live in a democratic country.
On Monday, in a scathing address to the nation, former hopeful for the Choiseul Saltibus constituency on a St. Lucia Labour Party ticket, Dr. Alphonsus St. Rose, announced that he will be contesting the seat, but as an independent candidate. St. Rose lost the bid to represent Choiseul to Dr. Pauline Antoine Prosper. In response, the communication officer for the St. Lucia Labour Party, Monde Lewis, says the party has no qualms about anyone who wants to contest the election.
Dr. St. Rose is a citizen of St. Lucia. It is his democratic right to seek elected office, and we have no problem with that. The party believes in democracy, and Dr. St. Rose has a right, if he believes that he wants to represent the people of Choiseul Saltibus, he has a right to vie in the upcoming general elections. So we wish him well.
St. Rose, in a 10-minute video, lambasted the SLP's candidate selection process, saying it needs to be reviewed and rectified. Lewis says all members who apply to become candidates are well aware of what the selection process is and believes that the process is quite transparent.
The process was transparent. The process is a process that we utilize in every constituency, and people will choose whether they run independent, whether they run with the St. Lucia Labour Party, and it is their prerogative. But the process has been explained to constituents, and at the end of the day, again, people will choose. I think the party has had dialogue with constituents, and we will continue to meet with constituents, not only our supporters, but also the constituents of Choiseul Saltibus and the people of St. Lucia, because dialogue is important, whether it is because you always want the best. And our process seeks to give everyone that opportunity. And sometimes persons may be unhappy with decisions, but as a party, we respect everyone, and we are committed to representing and fighting for St. Lucia.
She expressed that the party is working with the candidate, Dr. Prosper, on the ground to ensure their ultimate goal of removing the Chasney administration comes to fruition. As such, the SLP will not entertain any drama with people who are simply exercising their patriotic rights.
The party has made a decision to run Dr. Pauline Antoine Prosper, and we are doing all the work that is necessary to prepare for the upcoming general elections. Dr. Prosper is on the ground with the people of Choiseul, and as usual, the party machinery and the people of St. Lucia, they believe that better is needed, and therefore I believe that on election day that they will make the right decision and vote the St. Lucia Labour Party and its candidates to form the next government of St. Lucia.
She says the party will continue to work on their goal, and all they can do is wish Dr. St. Rose well in his bid to represent Choiseul Saltibus as an independent candidate. Reporting for Hot 7 News, I am Genevieve Gonzalez.
In accordance to the protocols governing mass crowd events, the Folk Research Center has decided that this year, Journée Creole will take on a new form. The event, as we know it, will not be held in its full glory of community gatherings and cultural events, but instead people are being encouraged to celebrate from the comfort of their own homes.
Much like in the case of Carnival, Creole Heritage Month festivities have taken a heavy hit from the widespread effects of the COVID-19 pandemic, with strict protocols still guiding mass crowd events and no verifiable predictions for the end of the COVID-19 pandemic. Director of the Folk Research Center, Louise Victor, says it would not be feasible to carry out Creole Heritage Month festivities in their regular fashion.
Statutory Instrument number 91, Section 7 speaks to the gathering of events and whatnot in this current COVID-19 environment. And it is no secret that Journée Creole, the Gouan Fête as we know it this year, which will be celebrated on October 25th, which is the last Sunday in October, is a mass crowd event which attracts an upward of 5,000 people on any given day in any given space. In light of this, our public health situation, Journée Creole, as we know it, will not happen.
Victor says this year's festivities, dubbed Journée Creole La Caillou, will seek to encourage home celebration amongst one's family, accompanied by virtual engagements.
So we are encouraging St. Lucians, and we will reveal a lot more details in that regard, to celebrate Journée Creole as Journée Creole La Caillou, Journée Creole at your home, just as we have been encouraged by other local authorities to operate within safe spaces and familiar spaces. We're encouraging citizens to do that as well this year.
The FRC director noted that hosting the event in its usual fashion would pose a major public health threat. She says the FRC anticipates that this year's blended approach will be nothing short of what is expected for the event.
It will be quite a public health risk hosting Journée Creole in the way that we know it and having a capacity of upward of 5,000 people in any one space. And that is the decision. In the coming weeks, we will give you the full calendar of what the observation of the month will look like from launch, even right down to the very day. And that will be through an official press conference and whatnot with other partners, where we'll reveal that full blended approach, is what I like to call it, with a bit of virtual and whatnot.
A full document detailing this year's list of activities will be released to the public in early September. Jacques Wooding, Hot 7 News.
Only one day after both the Ministry of Health and the Ministry of Tourism celebrated a COVID-19 free St. Lucia, as well as being ranked at #1 in the Caribbean for its response to the COVID-19 pandemic, a new case has been discovered. On Tuesday morning, the island's Chief Medical Officer, Dr. Sharon Belmar George, was the bearer of bad news as she gave the details of the new case.
Results received on Tuesday, August 18, 2020, reveals that St. Lucia has recorded a new case of COVID-19. The case is a 32-year-old female who traveled from the United States and has been in government quarantine from arrival. She is stable and will be transferred to the respiratory hospital for care. This brings the total number of confirmed cases of COVID-19 to date to 26. A total of 4,768 tests have been conducted to date. As we manage new cases and investigate possible contacts, the public is advised to take personal responsibilities to protect themselves and family. We advise against mass crowd gatherings. We advise on responsible behavior without unnecessary panic. The public is also advised that all of the protocols are still in place. These also include the use of face masks in public places and to maintain safe physical distance from others. We appeal to everyone to continue supporting our national effort to minimize the threat of COVID-19 on our island. The 5 respiratory clinics remain open to facilitate anyone with respiratory signs and symptoms or any concerns. Also, the 311 hotline is available where questions or concerns can also be addressed.
MJS and Associates, a healthcare consulting company, released a chart that shows that St. Lucia has the lowest number of COVID-19 cases in the region, with just 1.4 per 10,000 people. The chart shows Curaçao and Anguilla tied for second place with 1.99. On the other end of the spectrum, Aruba is listed as having the worst outcome with 92.43 cases per 10,000 people. In other news, the passing of a local legend in the arts, Mike Mighty Oberton, has sent shockwaves in the creative sector. On Tuesday, his family and dear friends reacted to the sad news, saying that he will be sorely missed not only by them, but by the entire arts and cultural fraternity. Jacques Wooding tells us more.
St. Lucian culture and history was what constantly inspired one of St. Lucia's most prominent practitioners of the arts. Michael Oberton, a gifted artiste and educator, passed away on the night of August 17th after battling with a prolonged illness. Described by his family as a quiet yet approachable individual, Mike, as he was affectionately known, wore many hats during his lifetime, including that of a school teacher, calypsonian, author, filmmaker, historian, and former director of culture. Mike Stephen Oberton joined Hot 7 TV to reflect on the life of his dear brother.
He loved music, the sea, he loves spearfishing. Of course, he loved writing, literature. I do not know where he got the knowledge from, but he was very knowledgeable. Sometimes, when I would, in lifetime, you would say probably not help me, he was a good guy, but I cannot think of much about my brother. He was just a very, very kind-hearted and good individual.
In the Calypso arena, he went by the sobriquet Mighty and was the first ever Independence Calypso monarch in 1979. He was also renowned for two of St. Lucia's most famous calypsos, Making Bread on the Dead and Second Boss. Ignatius Invader Thyssen, who described Oberton as a brother in the Calypso fraternity, says he will be dearly missed.
What a loss, a great loss to St. Lucia. Mikey Oberton being the prolific person that he was, an author, a cultural activist, a calypsonian, just a humanitarian. I mean, Mikey had a smile that would blow you away from a distance. Mikey had a personality that one could feel very comfortable talking to him, asking for advice. When Mikey came into the Calypso fraternity as the Mighty, he brought with him a refreshing new element to the Calypso fraternity.
Mighty was the father of two accomplished musicians, Michelle and Miguel Oberton, and virtuoso in dance, Nicole Oberton. He leaves behind his wife, distinguished dancer Rose Oberton. May he rest in peace. Jacques Wooding, Hot 7 News.
You're watching the Hot 7 TV Nightly News Edition. Still to come, Casabah Beach proprietor Marjorie Lambert says the recent show of support has given her the added strength to say she's here to stay. A group of market vendors go head-to-head with the CCC, and the grim reality of back-to-school expenses are highlighted as the opening date for the new school year quickly approaches.